Hey Big Lap Bible, we're Lyss
and Isaac,
and we're from the Salty Circus on Instagram. We did a bit of time on the south coast of New South Wales before we headed into Canberra along the Murray River and then over the border into Victoria. We headed for the Mornington Peninsula and did some time on the surf coast, where we ended up spending an extra few weeks than we thought we would, until we headed over into Tassie for 6 weeks over Christmas.
Yeah, we just got back on the mainland from Tassie in the last 3 or 4 days, and we headed straight for South Australia, which is where we are now.
Yeah.
Well, we've lived in Oz our whole lives pretty much, and we realised we've done more travelling abroad than we have in our own backyard. So with all the overseas travel restrictions, we thought, why not get out and explore our own country?
Yeah. We are currently in Robe in SA, parked up on the beach. We don't really have any plans, or we don't really have a specific route that we're taking. We're just kind of seeing where each day takes us, and not sure how long we'll be in South Australia for yet at this point in time. So
yeah. We're just travelling in a Toyota Troop carrier. We've decked it out with a bit of a bed and that in the back, which we'll show you soon. We don't have a pop top or anything. Yeah, it's a pretty simple, tight little setup, but we've gotten used to it over the last few months, that's for sure.
And it does the job.
Yeah.
We generally stay in free camps where we can. Majority of our camping has been free camp. When we need a hot shower and to do some laundry, that's when we tend to book into a caravan park. But that would be...
yeah, once a fortnight maybe,
if that, yeah.
Hard to narrow it down to one.
Yeah,
Tasmania was so good for free camping. Like camp spots right on the beach or right on beautiful lakes, and it's just so pristine that can't really narrow it down to one campsite in particular.
Yeah, and the free camps in Tasmania there's so many that you find a lot of the time you have a spot right on the beach or right on the lake by yourself with no one else in sight. So
we'd be pulling up to these campsites, just can't believe they're free. So
yeah, so Tasmania would definitely be our favourite so far.
My favourite place was probably Murray on the west coast of Tasmania. It was pretty raw and rugged, I suppose. They get the roaring 40s down there, but we had some unbelievable weather and just had 2 or 3 days of unbelievably fun surf, where it was just us and some friends really, had the whole beach to ourselves.
Yeah, it's an extremely untouched place too. You find a lot of the coastline is
non-accessible really.
Yeah, there's a lot of farmland that are privately owned, so to get down to the beach you really can't unless you go through private property. So the beaches are just so beautiful.
We're sort of just taking it day by day at the moment, especially now that WA's borders are closed. I'd be lying if I said we weren't looking forward to going over there, but at the moment we're just sort of looking forward to today or tomorrow. We don't really know where we're going to be, so that's kind of the most exciting bit about it.
Not that we wouldn't go back there, but we found it extremely difficult for
free
camping or camps that were reasonably priced. Would be the Mornington Peninsula. It was very expensive for a campsite that was essentially just a dirt patch. Yeah, so that's one place that we wouldn't rush back to.
Well, neither of us have any four-wheel drive experience at all. Like, I think before we owned the Troopy, I'd driven on the beach twice, pretty much. So we've done a few four-wheel drive tracks in Tasmania, just because so much of the land's untouched over there. You need a four-wheel drive to see it all, and there's definitely a few tracks that we probably shouldn't have gone down, where we carry a lot of gear on our roof, so we're quite top heavy. And one track in particular that we went down, we were this close to rolling the car, so
that was very scary.
Yeah, we're going to be a little bit more careful from now on when we go, because we've pretty much got our whole life in here. We can't afford to lose it.
Yeah, all the gear, no idea. We worked extremely hard in the 12 months leading up to when we left. We both worked 2 jobs, after hours weekends, so that was quite a lot. We hardly saw each other, but that's all good. We also rented our house out. We bought a house back in 2019. We rented it out, and we make a little bit each week off the rent that we're currently receiving, so that definitely helps. We will work on the road if the option's there to pick up a job. Like, we're not really phased whether we do or don't, so
I think if we just find a place that we want to stay for a couple of weeks, and there's not much happening, we'll just try and pick up a little bit of work.
Yeah. Yeah. An item that we definitely cannot live without would be a coffee maker, and a jet boil. And the jet boiler has been life-changing. Yeah, we use it every single day.
We had it recommended to us before we left. I can't remember who exactly recommended it, but yeah, it's an absolute game changer.
Definitely.
Well,
we're ranging between $500 to $1,000 a week.
Yeah.
And our biggest expense at the moment would definitely be petrol. I think we've spent a lot more on petrol than we initially thought we would, but in saying that, we have driven a lot and we tend not to park up for too long. We're constantly chasing that next view or that next place that we're excited to see. Less is more.
100% less is more.
And to not have high expectations of places that you see online, or
yeah, sometimes the picture doesn't show the entire outlook.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, Instagram can tend to be very filtered, so just keep that in mind, that not everywhere is as beautiful as you've seen it before.
I think it's almost like just the unknown. We don't really know where we're going to be tomorrow. We don't even know what we're going to do today. We've got the freedom to do what we want when we want.
Yeah. And I think waking up in a new place every day is pretty special. Yeah.
Does the car count?
Yeah.
Because it's definitely been our biggest splurge.
And was it worth it? Definitely. Prior to coming on this trip, we had a van.
A little high ace.
And we thought that it wasn't going to cut it doing the lap around Oz with how much four-wheel driving you can do to get to those secluded, pristine beaches. So we sold it and decided to buy a troop carrier, and we ended up buying one brand new just because of the resale price at the moment is through the roof. So yeah, it's a very big splurge, but definitely worth it.
100% worth it. Not really. I think we've done pretty well sort of limiting our purchases. I can safely say we use absolutely everything in this car. Yeah.
We have purchased 2 double camp chairs, and both of them have broken on us. So we would definitely say that they are not worth the money. Yeah. So don't bother. Our trip was delayed maybe 2 months because of the lockdowns, but that was probably a blessing in disguise. There was a lot of extra things that we needed to do that we didn't realise at the time, so we utilised that time very well.
Yeah. We missed 2 weeks in Tasmania because they hadn't opened their borders as well, but we still got to spend 6 weeks out there.
Yeah, and that was, yeah.
Lovely. Set out all your clothes that you want to take on your trip and then cut them in half. Honestly, we dead set only pick up the clothes off the top of the pile anyway, and it's not like we're going out on the town every night, so putting on a stinky shirt doesn't really matter.
And we've already sent some clothes home.
Yeah,
so.
And we'll probably send more clothes home.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. We'll
show you where we are, parked up right now.
Not half bad.
Take you through and give you a tour of our setup.
Our palace. Start at the back here. We've got our little pull down bench, our sink. We've got our big drawer over here, which is our cooker, kitchen, pantry. Underneath the big drawer we've got our little cutlery, plates, cups, and another chopping board. We've got our little inverter here which does our milk frother pretty much, and a couple of our other things that charge on 240. Inside we've got our little 40-litre angle fridge, and we'll jump up and show you through all our storage. So, inside we've got our little Troopy gear shelf, which is really handy. Store all our jumpers and kettle and all sorts of stuff up there. Our little Sirocco fan, which is life-changing on the hot days. Under our bench top here we've got one drawer, it's full of clothes. It's also hinges. These packing cells are a bit of a game changer. I feel like you fit so much more in. Got all electronics, cameras, computers and that in there. Got a little just everything drawer in here. We've got some games, some books, some candles, some rapid antigen tests if we ever need them. Got some more books down here in our little foot space. 6-packs, they fit perfectly in there. We have got a lot of storage up here under our drivers, behind our seats. That's originally where we kept our clothes, but it was just too hard to get to, so we shuffled a bit around. So we keep like some spare bedding and stuff like that in here. That's pretty much it for storage. I'll show you how the bed works. Bed setup's pretty simple. We've just got this little out bit of ply that slides up onto a couple of runners, and then the back of our lounge slots in there perfect to make a bed. It makes exactly a king single, which is pretty tight for the two of us, but yeah, we've gotten used to it, so it's not too bad anymore. Up top we've got our boards, gas bottle, and some big storage boxes. We've got our jerry cans for our drinking water here. Got a little homemade solar shower. It's actually not too bad. It hasn't gotten real hot though. On the front, just got our solar panel here, which charges all our 12-volt gear. And that's pretty much our setup. We've got, Lyss made some homemade fly screens, which absolute lifesaver. Just some magnets really sewed into some fly screen. They just stick on there like so. Keep all the mozzies out.